comparison many times before. You probably heard it when you wanted something new or better really badly, was in a fight with a loved one, or when you saw the poor and less fortunate. I've heard this phrase my fair share of times, believe me, but it never really stuck with me, and I never really thought about it until I experienced something that would greatly affect my life. It wasn't until about a year ago from now that I realized how much those words mean. Have you ever gotten into a fight or argument with someone you care about? Have you ever said something hurtful to a loved one or thought about saying it? I think most of us have. And looking back on the days where I said things to the ones I care about which were hurtful or mean, I fully regret them. I'm not saying I don't get into arguments, nobody's perfect, but I no longer think or say the harsher things that once came to my mind. Over the past 14 months, I've been through many rough times, and I've experienced things luckier people won't ever have to experience in their entire lifetime. When I turned 13, my 4-year-old brother was diagnosed with brain cancer. It never occurred to me the events that could be lying ahead for us. I figured everything would be over soon, just a rough patch my family and I would easily get through. I didn't realize how serious it all actually was. Those next 9 months were the longest months of my life, and 8 months later, I still have nightmares. But to those who knew me, I was your average 7th grade girl. I just happened to have a brother with a rare brain cancer living at the hospital who I visit every other day. But I don't think many people notice or realize that. I tried to forget about my brother's sickness, and I think that it was all the way it used to be. And it wasn't until about 7 or 8 months later that I realized how far apart I had grown from my brother, or how much worse his sickness was becoming. Then, almost 9 months later, my brother had lost all his hair, had enormous cheeks, and was spending his days in a wheelchair. He was in constant pain. He looked as though beast had attacked him and taken over his body. A few weeks later, he slipped into a coma, and not much longer after that, he was gone. For the first few months, I couldn't seem to accept the fact that he was gone, and when I allowed myself to accept reality, my eyes became waterfalls. But again, I tried to hide the pain. I cried alone in places like the shower and bed until I didn't cry as much. Even though it hurt, my brother's death brought my family closer together and made us realize how lucky we are to have each other and the memory of my brother, because some people don't have anybody. I'd give anything to be able to say my brother was still here today and cancer was never a part of our lives, but unfortunately I can't. The story isn't meant for pitying or sadness, but it's to tell those who hear it to love and enjoy who and what they have right now, because there are many people out there with stories like mine who don't have the things they once had to be happy and grateful for. It still hurts now just as much as it did in the beginning. I think it always will, but I've learned to accept it and be grateful for what I have. Everything happens for a reason.